I opened the closet and pulled out a nightgown from the corner. Since I haven't touched any nightgowns so far, all the nightgowns are still in each of the store's zip bags. The nightgown I chose was no random. I purposely chose a black silk nightgown because it seemed the thickest, not as thin as those made of mesh spandex. However, it is still quite short and shows a lot of skin. Not to mention, this nightgown also has a thigh-split design and opens almost the entire back. I'm out of the way too. This is already the modestest nightgown I have ever had. After taking the nightgown out of the zip bag, I began to change into my sleeping clothes. I also don't mind changing clothes in front of Dustin. I used to change clothes in front of Tiffany, a girl, so now it doesn't matter if Dustin sees my body too. I took off my clothes, leaving only my lingerie. After thinking for a while, I also took off my bra. Wearing a bra is relatively difficult to sleep. Not to mention, this nightgown also has breast pad, so even though I don't wear a bra, my chest still look like a girl's breasts. This nightgown was so easy to put on, so without the help of other, I was able to put it on by myself. I have a habit that has been formed since I started wearing the woman's clothes, which is to look in the mirror when I finish dressing. I looked at myself in the large mirror that was embedded in front of the closet door. Front the mirror is an extremely sexy and luxurious girl in a black silk nightgown. I am extremely satisfied with the results I have achieved so far. Originally, the body and face inherited from my mother were very similar to women, but after learning and constantly practicing has made me more and more beautiful and sexy. I'm a stubborn guy. Therefore, once I have decided to do something, I also want to take it seriously. I always seriously receive knowledge about beauty, makeup, selection of clothes, women's gestures, from Tiffany and work hard. Fortunately, my instructor was Tiffany, a perfect girl, so I didn't need to refer to too much documentation. Having a good instructor and relentless efforts, if I'm still standing at the moment, I'm too incompetent. When I looked at myself in the mirror, I truly felt the beauty of the nightgown. This is a strap nightgown with a plunging neckline. The nightgown adds lace from the bust to the sides. The thigh-split shape of the nightgown accentuated the beauty of my slim, smooth feet. After taking a good look at myself in the mirror, I walked over to the bed. Dustin is now facing the other direction. I noticed that his face was turning red, making me extremely confused. I approached him and asked, "How are you?" Dustin replied,
Sorry, you look so sexy that I'm a bit emotional."
Originally, I found the situation to be very normal, after listening to him. I also blushed. Although I assert that my appearance is not inferior to any other girl, every time I am praised by Dustin, I am still as embarrassed as before. Dustin cleared his throat to break the awkward situation, he said,
"Let's go to sleep."
After lying on the bed, I understood the meaning of Tiffany's sentence. Nightgown is really beneficial. The feeling of having trouble sleeping when wearing other women's clothes on the bed disappeared completely when I put on the nightgown. The nightgown is very light and airy. It was even more comfortable than the men's pajamas I wore to bed before. I started to have a lot of regret why I didn't put on my nightgown sooner. The comfortable nightgowns lying in the corner of the closet for a long time seemed to have suffered a lot of grievances. It was the first time I lay next to another man. Since I was a child, I have slept in my own room, so I have never even slept with my father. I feel a little nervous in my heart, and it seemed that Dustin, who was lying next to me, felt the same way. Both of us anxious for a while, then Dustin fell asleep. Perhaps he was too tired after a long day of work, and at night, he was dedicated to teaching me. After a while, I also fell asleep. I get up at 6 the next morning. Since moving to Dustin's house, I still maintain the habit of getting up early. This also looks like a positive change to me. I woke up dreamily and found myself lying in Dustin's arms. What the hell is this? Although we slept together, last night both Dustin and I maintained a distance away from each other. But now me and him are closer than ever. I also felt the warmth from Dustin's body. This made me blush, a little purposeful to get out of his arms. but I quickly suppressed this emotion. Dustin is already quite tired, I shouldn't have interrupted his sleep because of this little thing. So I remained the same situation in embarrass. Not long after, Dustin also woke up. He opened his eyes and saw me lying in his arms with my blushed face. He quickly sat up and said,
Sorry. I really didn't mean it.
I also sat up soon after and replied, It's okay. We fell into the same awkward situation as last night. But of course, this situation did not last long because Dustin was a busy person. He also took the initiative to break this dilemma. When we had breakfast together, Dustin suddenly asked me,
Now your programming knowledge is enough to be an intern. Do you want to try being an intern at my company?
I happily asked. Really? Of course I really want to. But then, I thought of something important. I said to Dustin, But right now, I'm in this shape. What if someone finds out I'm a guy? Dustin smiled and replied,
Don't worry too much. This is my company, so no one will check your identity document. As for your appearance, you don't even have to worry. You look more beautiful than any woman I've ever met.
I replied, but my heart was still a little worried. Yes. If you say so, fine. As an intern, the company is not too strict about clothes. I just need to wear casual dresses and a little makeup is enough. Dustin and Tiffany got on the car to the company. When I followed the two of them into the company's door, I still kept my shy face, not daring to look straight ahead, despite Tiffany and Dustin's constant reassurance and saying that I was worrying too much. The place we arrived at was a small office with just two people. As soon as we entered the room, one of the two stood up from his chair and said continuously,
Hello, boss. Hello, fastidious sister. Wow, my boss brought my sister-in-law to the company today.
Dustin lightly patted him on the head and said,
You're always like that. If you don't talk a little, you'll die. This is my girlfriend, officially today as an intern of the company. You two take care of her for me.
After saying that, Dustin and Tiffany let me stay and then walked away. Before leaving, Tiffany also glared at the guy with his big mouth and threatened,
Dare to say that I am a fastidious sister, just you why?
I bowed to the two people in the room. The two of them seemed to be opposites. One of them has been quiet ever since, not saying a word. Even when I greeted him, he just nodded back. As for the other person, his mouth muscles worked continuously, even Tiffany he dared to poke. I felt that the two of them were a bit familiar, but for a moment I couldn't think of where. I greeted him. Hello. I'm a newbie, looking forward to learning a lot. He laughed and said,
Whoops! Why are you so formal? We're acquaintances.
Confused, I asked. What? He replied,
I am Iron Thor, and the other is Lost World. We've all been playing game together for a long time. My boss didn't tell you? Maybe my boss has another girlfriend?
Only now did I figure it out. No wonder why I feel this duo is a bit familiar. Perhaps as I had guessed correctly, the three of them did indeed have acquaintances outside. Unexpectedly, all three are working in the same company. But that's better, at least I won't feel lost when I first work at a company. I smiled. Yes. Hello, seniors. Nice to meet you two outside for the first time. I'm Banks, looking forward to helping.